This is the English Literature Web YouTube channel. I am Prof.L.B.Gayakawad is talking on the particular topic which is reading comprehension. This is the second part. We have seen in the first part about the reading comprehension, which is very useful for the students of languages. It is the work of the teacher as well as of the students to find out some questions and their answers. So in the second part we will say that proficient reading depends on the skill of identifying words quickly and effortlessly. Here it is very clear that the proficient reading is there important, means when the student is there and he has taken that particular passage or the paragraph for the comprehension, then the proficient reading is very important for that student, and the proficient reading is very much dependent upon the particular skill of identifying the words. If the student has no knowledge of identifying, knowing the words quickly, if that student is making rather laziness there in finding out the particular words, then he cannot find out the words and he cannot find out the particular meanings of those words. And he should do that study very effortlessly, I will say. Effortlessly means he should not take more efforts. Easily he should understand all those words, and he should find out the words in the passage. And then when he will understand the meanings of the passage, then he will go through the text properly, and then he will have the tact of the comprehension, and he will know the words, phrases, sentences, and he can answer the questions which are there below the passage or the paragraph. People know it through education. Remember, education is the particular process by which man becomes very clever, man becomes very intelligent, or man can understand many things. And in this way here, there are some people who take education, and because of that education they know the particular idea of understanding words, and they understand words and the meanings of those words, and then they can understand the particular paragraph or the passage. And comprehension is the particular thing in which there is the passage and the paragraph, or I will say the text. And this text or the paragraph are understood by the people only with the help of the education which they have taken in their life. Again, I will say there are some experiences to the persons, and those experiences to the persons also help them to know the words and phrases which are available in the passage or the paragraph. But it is really known by the skill of originality. Remember, though these persons have taken education, though these persons have experiences and they are understanding the words, phrases and their meanings, but it is very quite possible that they must have the skill of originality. If they have no skill of the originality, or if those students or teachers are not original, it means if it is not in their practice, or it is not, I will say, in their body. Original means what? Actually it should be there in their blood, it should be there in their body. If it is not there inborn, I will say, or it is, if it is not by God, then it becomes very much difficult for the students or the teachers to make the particular comprehension of the passage or the paragraph. It also depends on the individual's proper development regarding the building of thought makeup. Remember, just to be so that the education is important and the experiences are important to understand the meaning of the passage, to have the particular comprehension. But the originality is the particular thing which is very important, and here again it is the important thing that the particular student or the teacher individually should be properly developed. If he has developed himself or if she has developed herself, then he or she can make the particular comprehension of the text or the paragraph, and they can make that thing with the building of thought. Building of thought means what? In the passage there is the particular thought, there is the particular philosophy, or there is the particular opinion, I will say, of the writer, because the writer has written that passage or the text only for giving the their thought, the philosophy. And that's why here that thought or that philosophy should be understood by the teacher, and that teacher or the student should make him or themselves for the understanding of that particular passage, and then it is the work which will be very easy for them to understand the particular passage. To comprehend the text, the reader must have the prior knowledge about the subject, then well progressed language, and then to know the questions and answers there below the passages. It means that if the student or if the teacher want to understand a particular passage, or if they want to comprehend the particular text, then they must have the prior knowledge about the subject. Means if that is the subject of English, then they must have the knowledge of English subject. If it is the subject of Marathi, then they must have the knowledge of Marathi. If they have the capacity of understanding Hindi subject or any subject, they must have means they must be expert at knowing that particular subject or those subjects, and then the knowledge of those subjects will be helpful for them, or that knowledge will help them, and then they will understand that passage or the text, and they will know the meanings of the words and the phrases there in that passage, I will say. Their language should be well progressed or developed. If those students or teachers have not developed that language very well, or they have not taken efforts for developing their own language, then they will not understand the language of that passage, and that language will be very difficult for them to understand, and that's why the language should be well developed by them. And if they have developed that language very nicely, then that passage becomes very easy for their understanding, and easily they can understand the passage and they can comprehend that passage with the help of the phrases and sentences, thoughts, opinions, and philosophy of that particular topic, and they can solve out those questions, and they can give the proper answers to the questions which are there below those passages or paragraphs. To read a comprehension, the reader must ask, why is this idea significant? Remember, if the proper comprehension the students want, or the teacher wants, or the learner wants, then that learner should ask the question, why is this idea significant? Because when that a student, researcher, or the teacher are going through the passage or through the paragraph, they must think there, why is this idea significant? Means they must know the significance of that idea. Means if that is the passage of I will say of life on the love, or if that passage is about nature, and if that writer has written some lines or some sentences about the river, and at that time that a student or the researcher should ask the question to himself, why is this idea significant? And when he will ask the question to himself, then he will get the answer, and then he will comprehend properly that passage. That is the point here. And he must read carefully the entire text. Remember, the total text must be read by the student or the researcher again and again, because reading and rereading is very essential for them. He should not make any kind of laziness there. He should not be bored of reading that paragraph. He must read that paragraph again and again, and then he can comprehend the particular text. Social and imitation learning is too much significant. Remember here, I will say that if there is the social corner or the social philosophy or the social culture, or if the student has the knowledge of society or the social issue, and imitation, if that student is expert at imitating something, then that type of learning is too much significant to comprehend a particular passage. And then the teachers must explain the genre styles. Remember, when there is the comprehension of the particular passage, then that teacher, or I will say the learner, must explain the genre styles. Genre styles means what? The styles of the writer, means the way of writing of the writer. Means what is the way? Means if it is the way of happiness or unhappiness, or what is the style of the writer, or in which style that writer has written that particular sentence or that particular text. That is called genre styles, and these genre styles must be understood by the researchers, and then they can understand properly the comprehension of the particular passage or the paragraph. And they must know the model there. So what type of that model is, they must know, and they should relax students from the complexities of the text comprehension. And in this way, if the teachers are very expert at knowing the passages, or if the teachers are there to have the efforts to make that comprehension properly, then the teachers can make free students from the tension of making comprehension of the paragraph, because comprehension of the paragraph is the particular thing which is rather difficult in the sense of the students. But if the teachers are laborious, and if they are taking the particular labor on comprehension of the particular passage, then it is quite possible that the students can be without tension there. The teacher should give the remedial teaching to students sincerely for understanding comprehension. Remember, the important point is that the teacher should give the remedial teaching to the students. Now remember, remedial teaching is not the simple word here. I will say the remedial teaching means the teaching which is given to the students for solving their doubts and problems. So the teacher at first should take the remedial teaching for the students, and he must find out some solutions on the problems which are there created by the students. Means the teachers should explain all those difficulties which are in front of the students, and in this way, if there is the particular remedial teaching given by the teachers to the students, then the knowledge of the students become very great, and then with that knowledge, I will say, the students can make the comprehension of the passage very properly, and it becomes the lessening of tension of the teachers also, and the teachers can be very much relaxed from the students, because the students themselves can make the comprehension of the paragraph. So it is the duty of the teacher to give the remedial teaching to the students. The teacher should give the self-regulated learning to the students with more and more practice. Remember, to understand the comprehension of the passage, it is the duty of the teacher to give the students practice and practice. Means the teacher should give practice and practice. It means that the teacher should give some lessons again and again, and some grammatical structures again and again, and some thoughts again and again. Then the students will be able to make the comprehension of the particular passage. It means that the regulated learning, it means that the learning from the teacher should be regular teaching. And if that regular teaching is there, and if there are the assessment, if there are the assignments, or if there are the homeworks, I will say again and again by the teachers to the students, then it becomes very much a polished part on the part of the students, and the students can understand very easily, and the students can release here their attention of the particular comprehension, and they can be expert at the language, and easily they can understand the particular passage or the paragraph. It is very much correct about the students of science also. Then it is also about the students of English, Marathi, or any language, I will say. And if the teacher of any language is doing like this, then it becomes very easy for the students of the education, and the comprehension is very easy thing then for them to understand or to make the comprehension of the particular passage. Then what happens? The students are made very strong, and the teacher becomes a role model, and the student also becomes a role model for the other students, or for the even for the society. And if this is happening again and again with the help of the teacher, then it becomes the effective reading. It becomes the work of the effective readers. Means the teacher does nothing, but he creates the effective readers from the students. Means it becomes very much useful for the teachers also and for the students also. Means it is the development of both the sides, I will say here. The definition of the comprehension is told as the level of understanding the text or the message. Means if there is the text or paragraph in front of the teacher or the student, then what happens? The definition of the comprehension is said here that it is the level of that text or message. Means the teacher or the student should understand the level of the passage or the level of the text, the level of the message, because they have to make the comprehension of that particular message or the text. This understanding or this comprehension comes from the interaction between the words. Remember, here the words are very much important, and through the interaction means what? Through the relation, through the coordination, through the connection of the words, it becomes very much nice. And that's why here I will say that comprehension is a creative, multifaceted process depending upon our language skills, called phonology, phonetics, syntax, semantics, grammar, and pragmatics, meaning related subfields and linguistics. Means pragmatic, grammar, semantics, syntax, phonetics, phonology, these are the skills of language. And if the students are or the teachers are very expert at these particular benches, then the comprehension becomes very much easy for all. So here today we have finished this topic. Again we will come in front of each other with the new topic. Thank you very much.